really to get the wins that we did, and then have this announcement today is obviously great. So really excited for it, excited for the next few years, and just want to keep building what we're doing with our 24 team. I feel like we're really starting to build good momentum and got great people around me with my crew chief Rudy, and all the people that he's assembled under me. So just really excited and thankful, and hopefully keep it going.
All right, we'll now go to questions for William. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get to as many questions as we can in the time that we have. For our first question, we'll go to Bob Pockris. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, William, was there any part of this negotiations that were difficult for you, just from the sense of, now that you've really established yourself, you had wins, like you could probably make, I want to say demands, but ask for things that maybe you couldn't ask for in the past, and maybe wait, and maybe you had some leverage. Was it any different of a negotiation, in any way stressful?
It was a little different, but I thought, I think it's really fair. I think they've done a great job, and I've connected with Rod Moskowitz this off season, started working with Pro Sport, and it was definitely different. This is kind of my first deal outside of my rookie contract, and I think that it's good to kind of understand the economic sense of the sport a little bit more as I've gotten older and start to understand all the moving parts and what goes into it. So I thought it was educational and fair, and definitely left me excited and looking forward to the years ahead. So it was different for sure, and but I'm happy with it, happy with how everything turned out.
And speaking of the economics of the sport, Chase signed a 5-year deal, and there's some people who say, with the TV deal coming up for renewal, and you not knowing how much the teams are going to be getting and starting in 2025, that you shouldn't go all that far out. And I'm curious if you were like, if anything was discussed about doing it beyond 3 years, and was there anything in your thought of saying, okay, let's not go too far into the future without knowing what the TV deal is?
Yeah, I think those things are all at play for sure. I think that, our sport's going through a big change, and a change for the better, really. We're really, thriving, I think, as a sport, and seeing how much the fans are turning out to the races, how the TV ratings are, things like that. So it's exciting, for somebody like me coming into the sport. I'm 24 years old and hopefully have a long career ahead, and want to see the sport do well. I want to see, fans be interested in what I'm doing. And I've got a lot of support from friends from high school and things like that are watching the races that I didn't get those messages a few years ago. So it's cool to see that. And hopefully we continue to, as drivers, benefit from the success of the sport.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, our next question will go to Matt Weaver. Go ahead, Matt.
Hi, William. Thanks for taking time today.
Yeah.
From a next-gen standpoint, what has been the hardest kind of muscle memory adjustment you've had to make going from the Gen 6 car to the Gen 7?
Yeah, it's, I think that the car, you drive it a lot straighter. The old car, you had skew. You had things in the car side force. Obviously, skew and side force were probably the biggest differences, and with that came some ability to lean on the right side of the car, and lean on the right rear especially, and typically the cars didn't build so loose throughout a run. I think this car builds a little bit looser, and I think overall it's just you drive a lot more off the right front tire, which is, it's an adjustment, but it's not that hard of an adjustment, because I feel like there's been cars along my career that have driven like that. And, it's just different. I think that the biggest thing that we're seeing is the track change. We're seeing a lot of change in the racetrack as the weekend goes along. And with that comes a lot more confidence by the end of the weekend. You don't see guys, wrecking as much by the end of the races. So, I think there's a shift going on in the racetrack that we're not used to. Goodyear's brought different tires. In a lot of ways, they're softer than we've ever had. So that's creating, some variables.
Had myself on mute, but also you've got Nashville this weekend, super late models with Donnie Wilson. And so I'm curious, how excited are you to do that, but also to see what that place could kind of become in the next several years with Speedway Motorsports looking to turn that into something more? Maybe you could go cup racing there in the next 5 years or so.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Nashville is an awesome racetrack, and got a chance to go test there on Tuesday, and just that experience was a little bit different than what I'm used to. I mean, the last time I went there was 6 years ago, so to kind of see how the racetrack's evolved, like you said, see the potential for that racetrack that it has is really cool, and I think it's almost a perfect racetrack for super late models because it's so low in grip. There's a lot of tire fall off, but it's fast as well. So you get to kind of see the horsepower of those race cars, but also see tire fall off. And I think that's, obviously the perfect equation, right? So, I think it's a cool racetrack. I felt good about our car, and, hopefully can kind of get back to, getting a win there, and that car would be fun. So haven't been in it in a couple months. So it took a little bit of adjustment time, but hopefully it's a lot of fun on Sunday or Saturday.
If NASCAR does go there, they're probably going to pave it, so it's not going to be the same. But do you think the next gen would race well there?
I do. I think, it seems like a big, heavy stock car race as well with some banking. So, I think some of our worst races are unfortunately the flatter tracks because we just don't have they're just so heavy that it's hard to make much work, I guess. But the bank tracks like Nashville, I think would be kind of a perfect racetrack for that. It's honestly, it's probably half the banking of Bristol. So it's, I think it'd be perfect.
Okay, our next question will go to Zach Sternalino. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, William, thanks for making the time today. I'm curious, as you were going through these contract talks, the success you've had early this season, how did that impact both parties? Because you're proven to both yourself and to your bosses that this next gen car, you've been able to adapt to it fairly well, fairly quickly. As you look toward the future, how has this early success impacted those talks?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say. I feel like we kind of started them right around that time. So hard for me to say the differences there, but definitely seems like both sides are, happy. I think that, I'm happy where I am. They're happy with the progress that I'm making. And I feel like there's kind of that, excitement for the future of what we're going to do together. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. To answer your question, I don't know how much it changed it, but definitely I think everyone's happy. Jeff was excited when he saw me at Dover, and I'm excited too.
And then also Mother's Day coming up this weekend as well. I know it's been there were some challenges over the last year. Did that change how you approach Mother's Day as a holiday this year? Does it have any more meaning than it did previously?
I think for sure. I think that whole series of events has kind of changed my perspective in general on life. So I think that it does make it different, because last year this time, it was weird. Like, none of my family went to the Darlington race, I don't think. So it was weird, and just a different kind of weekend. So yeah, I think, this week's already been good. We're, doing a family dinner tonight. So getting to see my cousins and things like that will be fun, and celebrate the moms in our lives, and just enjoy the weekend in general. Obviously, the race at Darlington to cap it off. So should be a fun weekend. Excited for her to go to the race, and my sister as well. So looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our next question will go to Lee Spencer. Go ahead, Lee.
Thank you, and congratulations, William.
Thank you.
You seldom do an interview without mentioning Jeff Gordon, and I'm just kind of curious, how much of a mentor has he been to you, and how much has he helped you acclimate to your role at Hendrick Motorsports?
Yeah, he's helped quite a bit. I think he's just made me comfortable, in the Cup Series, and made me understand what's important. He's not like, he's really good at managing both sides of it. He's good at managing the off track and the on track, and knowing the importance of both. So I think that's been what I've learned from him over the years, and also little tidbits of information about racing too. So, he's been good for me, but also good for the race team and good for Rudy. Like, he'll come into our 24 room and he'll talk about racetracks and what to expect and what he thinks is important, and that's cool because he's won at a lot of the places. So I think it's great info.
And you got a lot of your training doing simulation and the like, and I'm curious, you've also integrated a lot of different vehicles, racing different vehicles outside of just your traditional NASCAR stock cars. What's been more beneficial to you, increasing your work on simulation or the extracurricular racing?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that's the question that we're all trying to answer every week. What's more important? Is it going to the simulator? Is it going to a real racetrack, running something else? So, I think the answer is both. I think as much racing as you can do is important, and with my age, I don't fortunately don't have a ton of other distractions, and I can get a lot of time to go and sit in the simulator at my apartment, or go to the Chevy sim, or go to Nashville to test a super late model. So I think all that experience is great. I mean, look, Monday wasn't the best day for me at Dover, and was able to kind of go to Nashville the very next day and getting something else and erase kind of that memory of the weekend and get on with it. So it's nice to, for me this year, it's been awesome for just my, mental thought process to be able to go into different cars and just keeps me fresh, I think.
Appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question will go to Trey Downey with MRN. Go ahead, Trey.
Hey, William. This year, it's seemingly kind of harder to pick out, who's emerging as a possible championship favorite, but you're one of the guys that are kind of circled there, one of only 2 drivers with multiple wins. But I just wondered, at this point in the season, almost a third of the way through, who would you consider your biggest competition in terms of getting to that championship 4 in Phoenix?
Yeah, I think no, to your point, it's been hard to learn this car at different racetracks. We've nailed it at certain tracks, and then certain tracks we've been way off. So I think it's just it's just learning the car, learning what it needs and the balance that it needs, and kind of erasing those old memories of what the car used to drive like at that track, because it doesn't really matter. So I don't know. When it comes to competition, I still just think if we can just do our deal and just continue to build a notebook that's a good foundation, I think we've got all the tools and resources to do well. So I'm not too worried about anybody else. I continue to see my teammates, if they hit on the setup, they can win, and I feel like we're just the same. So I'd say it's really just internal focus, trying to be good every single week, and try to build that notebook, and knowing that your teammates are going to be right there to challenge you for wins is a good thing.
And looking ahead to next week, you and all of HMS has shown a ton of speed at 1.5 mile tracks. Just what are you expecting when you go to Kansas for the first time in this new car next week?
Yeah, I think I'll answer that after I get through Darlington. I think Darlington's kind of my biggest question mark, is kind of getting through that. But yeah, I mean, we've been to a couple high speed racetracks. I think Vegas it's been a long time since we went to Vegas, but we're obviously good there. We finished 5th and had a good result. So I'd see us being strong at Kansas for sure. I just haven't put much thought into it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our next question will go to Sean Montgomery. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey, William. So just really talking about your relationship with Rudy and how y'all have grown since you've been together now a few years, and how that's really developed since last year. Y'all made a strong run in the playoffs, came up just a little bit short. How have y'all refocused and pretty much set your goals up for this season to make it further into the playoffs and try to win a championship?
Yeah, I think for us, it's just learning this new car. I mean, that's kind of everything we did last year was great, and it kind of set a good foundation for what is important to us, and how we're gonna I guess approach our season, like what what we want to go for. Obviously, playoff points was a big part of that, trying to get more of those. But yeah, I mean, it's just all about communication, and I feel like he and I, when we communicate well, we're really good, and we can have a lot of success. So we just keep working on our communication. What I like about him is that after a tough race, he digs his feet in deeper and figures out how to solve problems. And he's a problem solver. So I like that. I like that aspect, and I think that's why we've always been good. We just, we're able to rally from bad races and get closer together and go to work on it.
Can you just talk a little bit about your personal relationship, maybe some things that you do outside of the track to try to get closer, or just how y'all focus together on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, we don't go get a beer together or anything. It's not like we're best friends off the track, but we care about each other and our families, and I like to see what his son Reed's doing and all that, and he cares the same about me. So I think we text a lot, and talk a lot on the phone and stuff. So at this level, it's a pretty constant relationship.
And just last question, how has being a young core at Hendrick Motorsports really provided you guys with a new spark and a new outlook compared to some of the older guys in the Cup Series?
I think it's just circumstances that we're all the age that we are, but I think it's just, our path to the Cup Series and the way that we've all came together. We have different experience levels from different race cars, but I think we all get along really well because we're similar in age, and we all like similar things. A few of us play golf, a few of us go race other things, and so we all have kind of common interests, I'd say.
Okay, thanks so much. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, and I know that we were going to cut this short with some hands still raised, so apologies to everyone that still had some questions. But William, we want to thank you for your time, congratulate you on that contract extension, but we know that you have another interview to jump to here in just a few minutes. So thank you again for joining us.